Hi, I'm Carcino. Oh, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it.
No one knows Carcino and none of these.
There's so much going on in the world, and I'm just giving my 2 cents on it. Go in and do a raid at someone's house, but you don't have an arrest warrant for them. Oh. This has just gotten more interesting than what people may know or may not know. The scenarios have just gotten weird. Here we go. You've seen. Let's listen.
I'm Ryan Rabel. I'm the U.S. Attorney for the Northern District of Texas. Thank you for coming. This week, 9 individuals, including well-known musical artists, kidnapped and robbed at gunpoint numerous victims at a music studio in Dallas, Texas. 8 of the 9 were arrested yesterday in Dallas, Memphis, and Nashville. These individuals who are charged and arrested include Lontrell Williams Jr., also known as Pooh Shiesty, Lontrell Williams Sr., Rodney Wright Jr., also known as Big 30, Kadarius Waters, Demarion Gibson, DeMarcus Glover, Corday Johnson, Darian McDaniel, and Terrence Rogers has not been arrested yet, but will be soon. The complaint alleges that on January 10th of this year, 3 music industry professionals traveled to Dallas for a scheduled business meeting. Lontrell Williams Jr. arranged this meeting purportedly to discuss the terms of his recording contract with one of the victims. As alleged, once these 3 men were inside the recording studio, Williams Jr. and 8 co-conspirators, several of whom traveled from Memphis, Tennessee, executed a coordinated armed takeover. As alleged, Williams Jr. produced an AK-style pistol and forced one of the victims to sign a release from the recording contract at gunpoint. The remaining conspirators displayed firearms and robbed the other victims of Rolex watches, jewelry, cash, and other high-value items. One of the victims was actually choked by one of the defendants to the point of near unconsciousness. Defendant Wright barricaded the studio door with his body to prevent the victims from escaping. The ringleader of the conspiracy, Lontrell Williams Jr., was on home confinement at the time of the offense, as alleged, for a prior firearms conspiracy charge and conviction out of the Southern District of Florida. Towards the end of his prison sentence, he had been granted home detention. Part of the terms of his home detention were that he would not commit another federal offense or possess a firearm. His father, Lontrell Williams Sr., is alleged to have helped plan and execute the federal kidnapping as charged in the complaint. And as described further in the complaint, within hours of leaving the Dallas studio, a number of the defendants were on social media displaying some of the items that appeared to be the jewelry that had been robbed from the victims. The charging document outlines some of the evidence, just some, establishing the defendants' roles in the federal offense. This is as follows: electronic monitoring data placing Williams Jr. at the offense location, which would put him in violation of his home detention conditions. Cell phone records and license plate reader data corroborating the coordinated travel of multiple defendants from Memphis, Tennessee to Dallas. Rental car records confirming Williams Sr. rented a vehicle that was used by the group. Surveillance footage from the offense location, a nearby office supply store, and a hotel where several of the defendants stayed following the offense. Fingerprint evidence as well that was recovered from the crime scene, matching at least 2 of the defendants. Social media posts by defendants displaying what appears to be stolen property just in the days following the offense. Greyhound bus records confirming the travel of multiple defendants from Dallas to Memphis the day after the offense, in this case, came to Dallas to conduct legitimate business, and they were met with firearms and violence as alleged in the charging document. This case should serve as a warning to others who believe that using violence and intimidation tactics to rob others in our community is a viable way to conduct business. I'm here to say that it is not, and that if you choose to do this, we will, together with our law enforcement partners here and the other ones in the Northern District of Texas, will bring you swiftly to justice. I want to thank the FBI Dallas Violent Crimes Task Force, the FBI's Memphis Resident Agency and Nashville Field Office, the Memphis Safe Task Force, the Dallas Police Department, the United States Attorney for the Western District of Tennessee, Michael Dunovit, and AUSA Greg Wagner, the U.S. Attorney's Office for the Eastern District of Texas, my dear friend and colleague Jay Combs, and the U.S. Attorney's Office for the Middle District of Tennessee, including my colleague Braden Busek, for their outstanding contributions in this multi-jurisdictional investigation and prosecution. I'd also like to highlight the extraordinary work. None of this happens without the extraordinary work of our AUSAs in this office, and I'm here to say we have the best AUSAs in the entire country. That includes AUSAs Robert Withers, Claire Demers, and my violent crime chief, Jeremy Fugate. This case really underscores the importance of standing up for crime victims, no matter who they are or where they come from, and the incredible collaborative, investigative partnerships that we have, not only in the Northern District of Texas, but across the country, and we are all working together to make our country safer. So thank you for being here today, and I'll answer some questions after my colleague here speaks. But now I'm going to turn it over to him, and this is Jeremy Wright, who's the Dallas FBI Assistant Special Agent in charge.
Yeah, thank you, Ryan. Good morning, everybody. As Ryan said, my name is Jeremy Wright, Assistant Special Agent in charge for FBI Dallas. As United States Attorney Raybold said, we're here today to announce the arrest of several individuals in the Memphis and Nashville, Tennessee areas, as long as one here in Frisco, Texas. These arrests are the result of a violent kidnapping of 3 individuals here in the Dallas area. The majority of those arrested did travel from Memphis to Dallas to commit that offense. Our office collaborated with multiple law enforcement agencies and other FBI offices to carry out this investigation that ultimately led to these arrests. So I'd like to thank the Dallas Violent Crimes Task Force, Dallas Police Department, the Memphis Safe Task Force, Memphis, Tennessee Police Department, and the Shelby County, Tennessee Sheriff's Department for helping with this investigation. Violent crime does remain a top priority for the FBI, and we dedicated significant resources from here in Dallas FBI, Nashville, Little Rock, Birmingham, and Atlanta FBI offices to investigate and successfully arrest these individuals. We remain committed to investigating violent crimes like these. No matter who you are, we will fight every day alongside our partners to make our communities safer. So thank you.
And we have time for some questions. If you would just identify who you were with and your name would be helpful. Yes, sir.
Kevin Reese with WFAA.
Hi, Kevin.
It may be in the release that you're going to send us, but can you be more specific to who these victims are and a specific location?
Yeah, be a little bit more specific.
I'll answer the last part first. Yes, it'll be in the complaint, and we're happy to get you a copy of that. It's now unsealed. It was off Dallas Parkway in Dallas, Texas, a music studio. That's what's identified in the complaint. As far as victims go, we won't get into at this time who the victims are or not.
Chase with the Dallas Morning News. Can you describe the injuries suffered by the 3 victims?
So one of the victims, and this is actually in the complaint, and we'll get you a copy as well. There's a photograph of the injury. It looks like there's some abrasions on the neck and arm.
You are still seeking one suspect, you said.
One of the individuals that's been charged has not had his initial appearance yet, but agents are actively working to locate and bring him to court.
And I wanted to touch on that actually. Eric Bushman with KRLD. Since there's one person you're still trying to get to come in, I guess it's on request because it's initial appearance. You would say that you're trying to work out. Because you're going public with this, are you afraid at all that that's going to hinder it eventually getting an individual in?
Agents are working to find him. The complaint has already been unsealed, and a number of these defendants have had their public hearing already, their initial appearance, and And so it's already out there that this individual has been charged. And so that information is in the public record. But I trust that the agents will be able to identify this person and find them and bring them to justice. Of course, that person can turn themselves in immediately.
2 questions. This is Chase with the Dallas Morning News. So the initial incident happens in January 10th.
Mhm.
We're here in April.
Mhm.
Can you describe the timeline and the length of time, why we're talking about this now? Because it sounds like these arrests happened recently. And then the second part of that question, did all of the arrests happen yesterday, or were they happening over the span of time that we're talking about?
Yeah, good questions. I'll start with the last part. 8 of the 9 happened yesterday, and then we're still working on one more. And that was, again, a lot of those happened in Memphis. One happened in Nashville, and we're working now with our Georgia counterparts to get the last person brought to justice. Do you want to ask another question, follow up to that?
Actually, I forgot yet too. I'll come back to me after you.
Okay, and remind me of your first part, sir.
We had the initial incident on January 10th,
Yep.
here April 2nd. Can you describe and kind of characterize why, that amount of time passed before they were arrested?
Well, that was one of the reasons I wanted to list off some of the evidence that has been uncovered to date. A lot of this was subpoena work, search warrant work, and things like that in order to develop the investigation. And so the agents here with me, the agents out in the field, it takes a little bit of time to identify who did this offense and build a case so that we feel comfortable bringing the charges. So actually that's pretty quickly for a federal case of this gravity and this nature. And so I'm very proud of the investigative work, and it will continue from this office as well as our FBI and our local police department.
If convicted of these charges, these arrests, how serious are these crimes? What do these people face?
They're facing a range. So there's no mandatory minimum in this case. It's a range of punishment, and it'll be in the province of the judge, whoever gets the case. But it could be from 0 all the way to life imprisonment. And as you know, a lot of what will guide what's called the sentencing guidelines will be the individual's previous criminal history, the fact that one of these individuals committed the offense while on home confinement, so actually serving a federal offense, assuming that individual is convicted, that will be an aggravating factor for sure.
Real quick, I was curious, I know you're being quiet so far on the victims here, but could you at least tell us, outside of them being local to Dallas, were they aspiring artists? Are they known locally or even nationally? Can you at least tell us that?
I'm not going to get into the victim stuff at this time. I think that more will be coming out there that will help clarify, but I'm not at liberty at this stage of the investigation to disclose that.
And then can you describe the operation to conduct all of those arrests? I imagine they were in different places. Maybe they all happened around the same time. I'm not sure.
I'm going to hand that one off to my colleague here, Jeremy Wright.
Yeah, thank you for the question. It requires a lot of partnerships across multiple jurisdictions to be able to conduct simultaneous arrests in a manner, to not alert other folks and to do it safely. So really, it's just a coordinated effort. And fortunately, we have great relationships here locally with Dallas PD and our other partners, as well as other FBI offices have the similar relationships. Memphis is unique. They have the Memphis Safe Task Force there currently, which was kind of a help in a lot of this. So it's really just coordination and pre-planning.
And a follow-up to that. So were all of the arrests in Memphis or?
No, Memphis, we had one in Frisco, Texas yesterday morning. The rest were in Memphis. And as the U.S. Attorney said, we're actively pursuing the final arrest.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Did you have another question, sir?
KG, just mugshots, is that going to be out somewhere when we can get that?
I think that becomes public record, but I'm not sure. If I could follow up with you right after, Catherine, if you would get to make sure that we get that information over there. Thank you for coming. If there are any further questions, I just want to underscore the importance here in Northern District of Texas of vigorously prosecuting violent crime. And a couple days ago, I did a press conference in Fort Worth, Texas, but it just highlights the collaboration. The state, local police are some of our best friends and best partners. Chief Como is a dear friend and partner of this office and has been fantastic for us. working with some of the best in the business, the FBI. And I'm just really honored to stand shoulder to shoulder with the men and women in my office. So again, we look forward to prosecuting this case vigorously. And if you have any further questions, feel free to reach out to Catherine Miller. Thank you.
And now you have no way of getting out. You can't plead your way out. There's no way out of this. This is a sad situation, man. Because it's stupid. It doesn't accomplish anything. If your goal was to, I'm going to get out my record deal, this ain't how you get out your record deal. This is the dumbest way. You were better off robbing a bank and paying Gucci Man to get out your contract. That was the better way of doing it if you was going to commit a crime. I'm just saying, if you going to go and commit a crime, you better off robbing and getting enough money to buy yourself out the contract. If it meant that much to you, then going there and putting guns on them saying, hey, sign this piece of paper. And that's going to stand. The next day, he's going to go and contest that, and it's over. Suge did that to Eazy-E, and it didn't work. That's the part that they don't tell you. It didn't work. Suge Knight contract with Dr. Dre was invalid. He still had a contract with Eazy-E. That's why Eazy-E was brought to the deal with Death Row. Anything Dr. Dre was producing, he had him as an artist and as a producer. So he had two contracts. So everything that Dr. Dre got as an artist and producer, they had to kick back a lot of that money to Eazy-E. So that's why they wouldn't let Dr. Dre produce any records. It would say mixed by Dr. Dre. It wouldn't say he produced it. They say, well, he didn't produce nothing easy. He only mixed it. So we're going to give you these. Even though Dre was producing, they had him down as mixed. So when they put him on the album as a producer, Eazy-E got to eat off that. Dre date only met Eazy's pay date. No, how he got released was in negotiations. They knew Dre was never going to work for Ruthless Records again. So it's like he's not going to work there again. Miss Chalet is not going to work there again. DOC doesn't want to work there anymore. They want out. What are we going to do here? Let's just come up with a deal. Let's negotiate this. Let's get it done. So Jerry Heller negotiated the deal with Jimmy Iovine, and they got it done. So everything Suge didn't work. That move did not work. They eventually had to pay out more money. Now, what is the next step in the next stage for Pooh? Well, Pooh Shiesty is somebody who is looking at a situation that's not, sorry about that, that's not getting better for him. And the reason why is because he just did something so foolish. I just never thought in a million years I would see anyone do something so foolish that it would render them just weak, you know, just absolutely weak and powerless. So when you start looking at situations and looking at it in totality, and you start saying to yourself, like, this doesn't make any sense. Now, all these artists and young people with contracts and the record deals, they're all going to jail. Y'all all gonna be locked up together. So I hope you're happy. I hope this is what you dream, because you finna get a reality check. All of you guys are going to jail. That's right, jail. You don't pass go. You guys are just going to jail. Period. The feds is on all these fools, man. They got nothing else better to do. They're not following around the Backstreet Boys. They're not following around Justin Bieber. They following around you rappers, you gangster rappers, syrup talking rappers. They trying to get all y'all with the RICO. Once they pass the law that they can charge y'all with RICO or just local cliques, y'all get the RICO like a gang, like y'all going from state to state. They just slapped Diddy with a one-man RICO, and none of y'all said shit. This is why. You think they gonna one-man RICO a white guy? Never. I mean, they knew rock artists had drugs. Their managers had drugs. They looked like they were on drugs. Thing Motley Crue and all of them, Kiss and everybody else, they wasn't on drugs. They were whacked out of their minds on drugs, tearing up hotels. Yeah, let's rock. Would I box 100? Not at this stage. I mean, at this stage, no. About 4 years ago, yeah. 2-3 years ago, I could have got a fight in. Now, no. Now I'll be fighting for my life. So if I fight now, it'd be for my life. Oh, there was a lot of street activity in that Kendrick and Drake situation. You just didn't hear about it. Oh, there was street activity. A lot of people got knocked out. A lot of people, yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on behind the Drake and Kendrick stuff. It just never was publicized. But yeah, it was people getting knocked out. It was all kind of chaos going on. You saw Rick Ross get jumped by white boys. It was nuts. People couldn't travel. Man, they ran down on academics in Detroit. You know, it was getting there. You know what I'm saying? The Weeknd, that's between the Weeknd and Drake. You know, the Weeknd security guard got killed, supposedly. And then Drake security guard got shot, supposedly. Then everybody trying to break into his house, all these dudes who were actors. It ain't about being in shape to fight. It's just physically. My knee got torn up from basketball. You know, my wrists, you know, they'll snap if I was to get in a fight. I generate so much power that my wrist can't take it. And the doctor said, like, man, you punch something hard enough, man, you might break your arm. Plus, my shoulder got messed up. So This is the way they kept me out of basketball. That was God telling me, your time is done. No more basketball, no more anything. So, yeah, that's done. But that's the thing, though. Street. Mm-hmm. Right. The street element changes the game. So because the street element came in and changed the game, everybody who was around that street element, now Pooh Shiesty is exactly who it was. Oh no, I didn't believe it. I didn't believe it at all. And the reason I didn't believe it is like a lot of things, man. You don't want to believe anything because of what's going on today. Dude, I do stretch. I go to a stretch lab. That's what I believe injured my shoulder. I got injured doing stretching. Dude, I get stretched out by professionals. Why do you think I'm so flexible? I'm flexible as hell. It's just that my knees is torn up. They need surgery. Like some of them is done. I would have beat Gil out of fear. The fear would have got to him. He's so scared of what could happen. He wouldn't want none of that smoke. I guarantee you that. He know what's coming. He's gonna be like, I don't want none of that. Big 30 on the run, but it's the federal government. Where you gonna go when you don't know you on the run? Everybody else is like, who told? Who told? They worried about who telling. For what? Why are you worried about who telling? I mean, damn, what were they supposed to do in that situation? Let it go down? So what y'all think Gucci Mane's supposed to do? The man is a rap artist. Okay, he not in his kitchen no more cooking crack. He already done killed somebody when he was held hostage before. So him being trapped in his studio because he thought he was around his friends, this will have him more paranoid than ever. So this is why I tell people a lot, like, man, y'all got to watch the way y'all do stuff. It's crazy. Compromised. Most of these people are compromised. They cannot excel to where they need to be. Yeah, compromised. Now everybody is coming down on Gucci Mane. Gucci Mane, he's a rat. Who told Gucci he's a rat? What do you expect Gucci to do? Plus, don't you think these people would have come out and said something by now? You think the federal government needed Gucci Man for this? They following him. He's already in the feds. Remember 6 years ago they was talking about him snitching?
On Apple Music, you were not surprised by all of the snitching going on in the streets.
No, I 100% was not surprised.
When everybody else is flabbergasted and Tekashi 6ix9ine this and that and the third, you was like, no, this is typical.
To be honest, like my whole life, even up till now, 33 years old, y'all say I kept going. I had went to county jail, and I had did like 3 stints over maybe 6 months in the county jail, and a lot of like months, but it's always county jail. It was never prison. So when I did go to prison, I went to a federal prison. So it was the education I got there because people don't really unprepared with the guidelines and how the federal court system goes about doing things, and I didn't know either till I went there. So once I went there and went through that, one thing, it made me grateful of my freedom and move different. But second, I got an education of the laws and how they go. So once you've been in the feds, you get out, you understand the power of snitching because everybody snitches. Because that's why they got the conviction rate of 98%. Because everybody who goes to the feds, they really plead guilty or they tell. It's not no like fighting trial and people beating it. That's like 1 out of 10.
I want you to say that again for the audience.
It's not no fighting trial and beating it.
98% conviction rate, which means
they're
always winning
because they don't even take the case unless they got all the evidence. They that's how they go about their business. They're not just taking cases.
Right.
They taking cases that they know they gonna be able to they got you. They ain't even coming to them.
Right.
So that let me know just like, damn, the snitches is what doing this. Because I'm seeing, you befriend people in there and they showing you, man, like, damn, these are confidential informants. These are paid informants. You can just pay, get out of jail, and just snitch forever. In the rap game, manager, driver, artist, and the people are doing it. They did it to me. And I've been rapping about it, but I couldn't really just say it because I was on probation the whole time, but I used to try to say it in my raps. How you snitch on me, you grew up with me. I used to say it so many little things, but people just thought it was just
raps.
But a couple of people knew, like, damn, Gucci keeps standing on this since he just got out. What's going on? Paid informants, confidential informants, rats. They everywhere.
So now they're going to use this to jump on Gucci now, because if this happens, they're going to say, oh, you finna rat. Gucci going to probably say, I'm not involved in this. I'm out. I don't need to be involved in this. I'm the victim. They was like, but we need you to testify. Man, I'm not testifying to nothing. They got video, and that's all they really needed. You got to remember, there were other people there. They might testify. Most of them might not be gangster. Okay? These other dudes that got robbed. There was a guy got choked out till he passed out. He might want to testify. So Gucci them and his team was denying it. What happened? Somebody tell it. And it's probably people that were hired that work for a corporation or organization. Like if you had bond security, the security guard is obligated to tell what happened. Like, let's say his service weapon got taken or his gun got taken, and he got to report that because it's registered in his name. So now he's got to go and report his gun being stolen. So he's got to fill out a police report. So he's got to go and apply all this. The feds get wind of it because they probably already watching Pooh Shiesty and everything Pooh does because of why he was in there in the first place. He was in a halfway house. So the people he come in contact with, everything that he does is going to be under the microscope. They're going to watch every single thing you do. This was not designed. The system is not designed to let you go. If they call me to the stand, will I testify against Gilbert Arenas? Absolutely. I'll be what all you want to know. What do you want me to tell you? Want me to say it frontwards or backwards? Send his ass under the jail. No, I ain't no gangster. I'll be calling the police. Drive me crazy with all this damn noise. Lock his monkey ass up. See how much he gonna be laughing when he locked up. Ha ha ha. Mm-hmm. Y'all think Gucci didn't know Pooh wasn't supposed to lead the state? Exactly. My thing is this. They don't understand that Pooh Shiesty is a product of the streets. And people want to prove themselves so hard. You know, look at them people like, man, Dirk, you ain't gonna slide. You ain't gonna slide for Vaughn. Y'all ain't sliding for Vaughn. Y'all ain't sliding for Vaughn. And look what it's gotten everybody into. Look what it got everybody into. Oh, y'all ain't gonna slide for Vaughn? Look where they at. Look where everybody at now. Dead or in jail. And he ain't even built like that. Dirk is a rapper. The Dirk I knew. When he first was out, he ain't had them tats like that. His hood, they were about that. They were about that life. He was rapping. He wanted to use music to get out of the hood and everything else. He had the low haircut, low fade haircut, and everything. Wasn't going on all the drugs. Dirk was rapping. And I don't know, somewhere down the road, it changed, man. He didn't get out soon enough. But the saying, you know, letting the fans and the people send you off, the feds is watching all of it. All of it. You see, no, I just know how it operates, how it normally happens. I seen this happen to somebody in a club, and the security told what happened to him because he had to. He's bonded security. So they got to report what happens no matter what. Because they was telling him, like, dude, we don't want the police in our business. And he got to report it. Like, dog, I have to report it or I'm fired. Do you understand? They going to do an investigation regardless. It's my company. You know, the company I work for, they're going to do an investigation. So if no police is called, they want to know why. These people weren't going to call the police to handle anything. They was handling street justice. But they had bonded security. So this was brought in by a record company. The record company was paying for them to have security for their protection. And when things went left, they didn't want security in their business. They was, look, keep this quiet. No, we had a good night. It was a shootout with some people. One of y'all got hit in the leg or whatever. You good. It's just a graze, but it's good. You ain't got to say nothing else. And they was like, look, they were like, anytime we have to fire our weapon, whether somebody was armed or not, we got to report that. So if he wasn't there with that weapon, they might have been gone. Now, testifying does not mean snitching. Now, if you want to give an account to something that happened to you, that's different. Like, he was a victim. So he ain't telling on nobody. He telling what happened to him. He didn't go there making a police report. They ain't coming to him. No, T.I. did snitch. He like, T.I. didn't snitch then. Oh no, he ratted. See, he didn't tell you. He told on his cousin or whatever, his uncle, and gave him a murder. You see, he leave that part out of it. He helped them close a murder. He was like, you ever get jammed up, nephew? Tell him I did this murder back in such and such and such and such. So he remembered it all that time. So now his uncle's dead. He can get him a murder. Said, oh, he killed such and such and such and such. There, I helped y'all close an open case. So that made it look good on his books that he helped them close an open case. So they said he told on the dead. So if he was going to tell on the dead, why he didn't say that when he did it? Why was he telling this lie like he never had to tell on nobody? Then here it comes 10 years later. You come talking about, yeah, I gave up a murder to my uncle and all that stuff. That's when we look at you funny. That's when we look at you side-eye. We go, what's wrong with you? You know what I'm saying? Because that's the type of tip he seemed to be on. My thing is, how do we know that's even true? He just threw that on a dead man. You know what I mean? To try to get himself out. And if he willing to do that, that person gonna be willing to make another type of compromise. Anything that make it look like, long as it ain't on his paperwork. Long as it ain't on my paperwork now. You know, I don't want nothing on my paperwork. I gotta make it look good. Right, it's us is. Man, people gotta learn to stop crying out here. They're all snitches and fake gangsters. The thing is that you're gonna have to make a decision. Are you a rapper or a gangster? You know, 50 Cent is like, look, I am not gang. I do not gang bang. Like, no, don't put me in that at all. He knew that to say that on the record. I am not gang. I do not gang bang. I don't do that. I'm a hustler. The most successful hustlers are snitches. That's not true. But in this game, man, that's what happens a lot for people. They don't get to see the gist of like everything that the majority of the general public sees. They don't see that stuff. So for them, it might look a little different. It might look crazy. When you see somebody else do something, you might go, that look a little crazy to me. You know, it don't make sense. I'm tired of these snitches. A lot of people are. But you know, it is what it is. You know, it's part of it comes with the territory. That's what I tell people, like, man, don't do nothing. Don't do nothing to require somebody to snitch. You eliminate the snitch. If you are illegal, all right, let me tell you right now. Let me talk to y'all. All right, let me holler at you. Let me holler at you, holler at you, holler, 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 holler. Let me holler at you, holler at you, holler at you, holler at you, holler, 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 holler. Let me holler at you, holler at you, holler at you, holler at you. Let me holler at you. If you want to do something criminal, okay, you want to be a smooth criminal. Let me tell you something, young fella. You want to be a gangster, a killer, all of it. Or you want to do criminal things. Let me tell you something right now. Do it yourself. Take the responsibility yourself. If you're going to do some crime, be willing to do the crime yourself. Don't send somebody to do the crime and hope they don't tell on you when they get caught. There is no code, no loyalty, no honor amongst these people. They don't look at it that, hey, I decided to do this with you. I got caught. That's on me. They ain't got that kind of disposition. They allergic to doing that kind of time. When them judges and them cops start talking about 25 years, 35 years, they start throwing them words around. People become real distant. They start missing mama and all this stuff, and he can get relocated somewhere. Then they start telling him, man, hey, we can relocate you, man. You know, we know you're stressed. We know you're worried about retaliation. We'll move you and your mom to a nice neighborhood, whole new town. You can start over, get a new life. That's all they want to hear. They go, my mama could come with me. What about my auntie? Like, yeah, you can take them, take your family with you. But, you know, you can't go back. Right? But if you do the crime, you should do the time. Be willing to do your work. This is why you don't sit there and do something and might as well do it yourself. And if somebody going with you, that person gonna be in it with you. You better off like, hey, this dude, yeah, we in it together. They used to have snitching laws in Kansas City, the gangs, that if you snitched, your whole family was wiped out. That's how it was. You ratted, Your whole family got wiped out. This dude didn't even care. He got caught and did not care. He snitched. He told. And they wiped out his whole family. They went in that house, wiped out the grandmama, the mama, everybody. He didn't care. He did not care. One bit. Yeah, it's sad. He got his whole family wiped out. B. What kind of man does that? He's like, I'm from Kansas City. It's still like that. He's like, I'm from Kansas City. It's still like that. Yeah, they will definitely take you out. Dude snitch, got a whole new life and got his whole family wiped out, and he didn't care. He was like, they ain't like me no way. So that was his bailout. Like, I'm a snitch and go to a new city and get these dudes locked up, and I'm out. And my whole family, forget them anyway. They can go. That's cold. Yeah, it's cold. That was the coldest thing I ever seen. He didn't care that his family got blacked out like that. I was like, what kind of a human being are you? That's what happened to dude who killed Nipsey. His whole family got wiped out. They wiped out his whole family, dog. That's how serious they took that. Mm-hmm. Demon time is real. Yeah, it is. All this energy is works of the devil. Self-destruction. Having you turn on the people that loved you. That's what they do. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it's crazy out here. Man, they did a whole drug rundown from the girl I was dating was involved with a dude who was in the drug game and he was in it. Had dude puts diesel and the diesel was so potent, it was killing people in like 3 different states. It became one of the biggest drug investigations of all time. They had to get it off the streets because it was bringing that much Fed attention into the world. And this is a girl I used to date, and she was involved in it. They manipulated her. She was one the brightest tool in the shed, and they came and took full advantage of her. And once they did, she couldn't recover. She became completely exposed, and she had to do prison time. Yeah, she worked for the police department. So they would manipulate her, and people was on to her BS that she was leaking out information. So they fed false information to see who was going to report it. So when she gave up the false information, they knew exactly who it was. They fed her false information. She reported it back to them, and they ran with it. And when they ran with it, it led to her being caught up. They had her phone tapped, everything. So she was involved with one of them. They took all of them dudes down, and she went down too. Now, because of her mother's, connection with the police department, she was able to go to a different facility and still get a decent job when she got out, which shocked the people in the city. Like, how in the world this woman get this kind of a job? Well, they take care of their own. This dude is lying. Boy, y'all have no idea about nothing in the world, do you? Oh, God. There it is. Chicago cop amongst 47 busted in a heroin wing. June 22nd, 2006. A Chicago policewoman is among 47 people arrested in a major gang operation heroin distribution ring outside a Chicago housing project. Operation Snakebite targeted the Mickey Cobras gang over months using wiretaps and undercover drug buys, the Chicago Sun-Times reported. Why do you think I need to lie about this, sir? Oh, he said I was. Oh, okay, my fault. He said you on point, Carcino. I was addressing the troll. My bad. I mean, there's a 213 page. This is the biggest drug bust in the city of Chicago. It involved 400 police officers and various agencies. This diesel was so important, it was dropping everybody dead. The DEA was involved. And the girl that I used to date is involved in this and got arrested and went to jail for this. And she was manipulated in the whole nine. Right? So, as you can see, Gucci told you about the rats, right? Man, they everywhere.
You got out. What's going on? Paid informants, confidential informants, rats. They everywhere.
And at how many different points in your
I'm saying the confidential informant, the paid informant, it's been going on from the beginning of time.
but I mean, circling around because you allowed a lot of people close to you
and
musically.
They told on me. Every case I got, you look it up, it's a snitch on it. Everyone, even if it's an aggravated assault case.
There was still someone who told.
Yeah, yeah.
Did
Somebody who might be in assault, just a switch and turn to an informant and tell the whole, tell what happened.
Did you get the opportunity? Did they try to get more from you when you got there?
Yes.
To reduce your time?
Yes. The feds asked me that. Yes.
And you were
I
like, I'm
told them,
good.
hey, listen, hey man, hey, how long y'all gonna have me here? Because I'm getting tired. I want to go to sleep. And they took me in a room kind of like this. I just went to sleep. And I guess if they seen I wasn't gonna tell about 6, 7 hours, they had to come get me. Hey, took me to jail. And I didn't get out.
I've just always been amazed with
Now, yeah, exactly, man. So that's what I'm saying. He just told you exactly what it is. They everywhere. Everybody that told in all his cases, they everywhere. But my thing is, Gucci ain't street no more. Gucci ain't street. Gucci is a record executive now. He is not in the kitchen. Okay, he ain't whipping up nothing in the kitchen no more. He is a record executive. That's like all these fools, what they tell you about me. Right? They all gonna tell you a lie because they don't really know. They be like, see no fat. I'll be like, what they say, Bookman and all that goofy shit. I'm like, dude, I've never been fat my entire life. Nothing about me says fat. I'm like, dog, I can put my hands on my hips. Nothing about me says fat. But they will sell that to you. They will sell it to everybody because that's what moves, right? It sounds like it, right? If you just see my face, you might think I'm about 400 pounds. And then people see me on the streets, they be, oh, Cino, what's up? Oh, dude, you ain't even big like that. I'd be like, they say this stuff on the internet, people run with it. So I'm used to the nonsense. It's just garbage they spew. But I try to keep stupid people in the lane of being stupid and move forward the way you're supposed to. And let the other clowns be the clowns. Yeah, I know. Tell me about it. But yeah, I gotta go on my Patreon right now because we gotta go to the board. You know what time it is. It's already written out there for you. So I'm gonna go ahead, Patreons. You know it's time to go to the whiteboard. All right, I'm gonna holler at y'all, the rest of y'all. If not, y'all want to see what's going on, get to the Patreon. The Casino for Life Patreon right now is popping. Let's go.